Embassy. We've got a document which is being prepared by our community, various community leaders, and we also would love our community leaders who are here also to give their views concerning our request to have not only a consular services here, but a consulate in Minnesota and other services we might need our government actually to do for us. So I'll welcome the chairman for that, the co-chair for that particular mission or vision, Dr. Karanja, to come forward. Dr. Karanja, I don't know where you are. Thank you so much. Dr. Karanja, I would love you to be preparing your team so that you will at least give us an overview. And before Dr. Karanja gives a report or an overview of that particular document, wonderful document, we've got some community leaders who are here. And I'm also so pleased to see one of my let me say, not really co-worker, but compatriot, Bwana Tom Guitar. Bwana Tom Guitar has been here long enough than me. He's also a media consultant just like me. So I really appreciate that we are having him here. He's got Bwana Tom Guitar. Usimame tu akuone. Thank you so much. Very good. Bwana Tom Guitar has really been doing a lot of good work in Minnesota here. He has a newspaper called Mishali. So Mishali is really read by so many people in Minnesota here, especially the African immigrant community. And again, in the meeting, I'm also seeing our former president for Mwanyegetinge, Madam, can you please, Ulda Mumanyi? Thank you so much. And then, community leader, Meona, the former ones, I want to do the former ones, and then I'll also introduce the current leaders for Mwanyegetinge. We have also some political leaders here, but today, this particular meeting, unfortunately, is not political. The parliamentarians who are here are basically coming to give us some more insight about what they are doing. We have got 3 committees here from Parliament. One of the committee is Foreign Affairs and Diaspora Affairs, and then the other committee is for Internal Security and Defense, and the other committee, Bwana Mheshimiwa, I keep on confusing them. They'll explain, but we've got 3 committees from Parliament who are visiting us today here. So the other thing, I would like also to recognize some community members who are also leaders, like residents currently. I would love to see Dadaros leader. You get your chance, Mama, at least one. Thank you so much. Then we have got Mr. Ireri, Sam Ireri. Thank you so much. And then, am I forgetting another community leader here? The president? Who? Oh, yeah. Lillian. Oh, why? Ulipotea sana. Thank you so much, Dada Lillian. So in that particular order, I would love we would love, because of the time, we don't really have a lot of time. We would like to give 1 or 2 minutes for our community leaders, at least also to have a say, some 2 words before we start. And then I'll also give an opportunity for our community leadership also to be here. The Kamba community, I forgot the Kamba community, please. Simama pia usalamie kwa. Thank you so much. Aya, tafadhali. Our outgoing president for the Mwanyegetinge, you are also having a vision for our community in Minnesota. I'm giving you 1 minute. Please come forward and talk. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kibwato. I won't take much of your time. I'm only going to take 1 minute. Yes, we are excited to have you here to give us an overview of what your different departments are doing, and then also hear from us in terms of what, this is not the first time, obviously. As diasporans here in America, we are very invested in what's going on in Kenya, and we are very much interested in seeing change. And one of the biggest things where all of these people have come here is for a consulate. And you can imagine most of us have to go to Washington, D.C. that means that we have to go there, and not only just for a day, we have to at least stay there for a day or two because we are not guaranteed that we'll get the services we need. So that means we're taking time off from our workplaces, our kids, our families, to go there to maybe receive services. So having a consulate here is something that we are really passionate about, that most of us, like Samuel Reri and Onchiri, all of us have been fighting for quite a long time. Secondly, I think he talked about the vision that I have. I'm running for state senate. I ran for state senate this last election term. And the reason why I ran is because there is a gap between us here and in Kenya in terms of the resources that are here. You are very much aware of this country and what we can supply. And so bridging that gap between our people here and our people there, and having people in power here is critical in making sure that our people in Kenya are receiving the services and the resources that we can partner with our people there. And so we invested in the leaders that are being elected in Kenya. Because when good leaders are elected there, that means, and then those of us who are elected here, we can partner together to make a stronger Kenya. So with that said, thank you so much for your time. And I look forward to having a productive conversation around this topic, because it's important. It's not just consulate services, there's other services that an embassy or consulate can supply, especially here in the state of Minnesota. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam President. From the media perspective, I would like Wanagitaha just to have 1 minute. Just 1 minute, please. Just 1 minute, please. And then immediately after that, I would like the Kamba community just also to come and give a minute, please.
Welcome to Minnesota. This has been my home for just over 30 years now. In 2 months, I've been here 33 years. And actually my opinion is a little bit different. I'm more of the contrarian in all of this. Because I don't really actually support a full consulate to be established in our state. Why? Because Chicago, to me, makes more sense. Because it will, I feel like Chicago will actually, that's all right, it's good. Chicago makes more sense because it can give us, it fulfills 5 pillars of Kenya's foreign policy objectives. Okay, so that's what I'm going to say.
To you.
And I've put my writing that I'll share with all.
You know, we are a democracy. Kenya is a democracy, and if somebody is giving his own opinion or his views, there is no problem about that. Let them also air out their opinion. It's always good that way. We are having what we call a public what? Participation. So let everybody give his or her views. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's get the Kamba community give their remark also.
Yes, good evening all. Thank you so much for having us here. I just have a few words. I just want to thank everybody for being able to get together so we can speak with one voice. Because that way we can get what we all need when we speak with one voice. So I just ask that each of us work together as brothers and sisters so that our MPs can see that we're together in all of this. They understand that whatever affects you as a person affects your brother who's also from Kenya. So let us look at that, and mine is just to call for unity so we can speak with one voice. We all know what we're going through. Let us speak with one voice that we get what we need. Otherwise, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to be here. Bye.
Thank you very much. So, Madam Lillian, I did say utafuata mbio. So, Madam Lillian, and then followed by Madam Roslinda. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother, Mr. Kebwato, and welcome, honorable members of parliament and your entourage. We really appreciate that you've taken the time to come and visit us in Minnesota. My name is Lilian Otieno, and I'm the president of the Association of Kenyans in America. But on top of that, we do have, and I know before the Mheshimiwas came in, we kind of touched a bit on Minnesota Kenyans Association. I will be the first one to say we have perhaps not gone out and advertised as much as we should, but that institution has been in place for quite some time. A lot of you are familiar with that organization, which is a catch-all for all of us. So we should have Mwanyagitinge there. Your former president was a part of that. Myself from Akia, I'm part of that. We have Mega as members. We have the Kamba community as members there. We have Kotapga. And we have also a lot of other entities which represent either Kenyans in so many different ways. So that is not a tribal group. It is not a group where there's conflicts in terms of leadership. It doesn't ask you to be different. It just asks us to have an umbrella where all of us come together. We still all have our own visions and missions for our organizations, and we can have that. My friend, Mr. Guitar here, has a different opinion, but he's still my friend. We go to the same church and we have a long history, and we've also done a lot of work together. And that is similar to a lot of you sitting in this room. So for me, it is a matter of continuously talking about that unity of purpose. Because I think if we represent ourselves as a united force, we can achieve a lot. So I just met our new counterpart from Mwanyagitinge, Madame Roslida. I know she's going to come here and say something. So congratulations on your appointment in this new office. And we look forward to welcoming you all and other leaders who are going to be elected in other offices on all these organizations I've mentioned and others. The whole idea is for us to come together and work together. For me, I'm also part of that consulate group that is putting on together information on why it is important for us to have a consulate here in Minnesota. And we hope that the honorable members from Kenya will take that consideration back to Nairobi, and hopefully it will work in our favor. And for all my brothers and sisters who are here from Kenya, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule. Sunday is a very difficult day for a lot of us to come in. I know it was a short notice. It was a short notice for all of us here, and that is just sometimes the nature of how these things trickle down from back home all the way here. But at the same time, as leaders, we try and make sure that we roll with whatever we are given to make things happen for all of us here in Minnesota. So thank you very much, and I look forward to the discussion.
Thank you very much, Madam Lilian. This is the shortest speech I've ever heard from you. Thank you so much. So, Madam Roslida, it's your turn. And Washimiwa, she's coming forward. At least you've seen that in America here. We've tried our level best to ensure that our ladies now becomes our president. So we are hoping even in Kenya it will be in that particular order. Naona Mheshimiwa Kapodi anacheka but tumejaribu.
Yeah, good evening everyone. Yeah, thank you for coming, Washimiwa from Kenya. I'm so excited to have you here, and thank you for choosing to stay by here. It's an honor to have you here, and it's really something that we're happy about. Before I speak, I have some of my leaders here. If you don't mind, I will have them stand up. So, they're not many actually, they can come up front here so you can know them. Yeah, the one who is speaking, her name is Roslida Nyeberi. I'm the current president of Mwanyagitinge. I think I'm the brand new president, the young president here. Next here, I have my secretary. I don't know where my files just went. I have a community leader here, county representative, another county representative, and then another one is there. My first was here. I don't know where he has. So, yeah, we are here because we know that you were coming, but the notice was very short. And the main thing I know you are here for is the consulate, which is something that we need to benefit. And I can ask my secretary to come and share what we have in mind.
visiting Minnesota as your first stop, and we are really excited to welcome you here. Although there is snow, we've never had this before, and it's happening in May. So we as a Manyagetinga community, I think we are the largest community here in Minnesota, and as my president said, it was really a short notice, but we work with that because we know how things go. So, I mean, we have some points why we need a consul here in Minnesota. If you guys are writing down, that's very impressive because I'm seeing Honorable, I don't know your names, but you didn't introduce yourself, but we will know you later. So we have points why we really need a consul here in Minnesota. And after all this, we'll give you a copy so that you guys can know why we need a consul here in Minnesota. So we are in diaspora, but Minnesota looks like it's the biggest community. I mean, we have people who live in Texas and all the other states, but we are majority over here. So we have around 20,000 population over here, and which includes Somalis, Somali Kenyans, and all those people. But we really need a consulate over here. So another reason why we need a consulate over here, we are the majority who support, who wouldn't meet economically. We are the majority who would meet diaspora, like or you can call it foreign exchange to Kenya. And then remittancy. I mean, so I mean, we are, since we are like 20,000 of us, we are here like immigrants, but we have our kids. The last time we had a mobile consul over here, and I went there personally, and it took almost, I think, 5 hours for my daughter to get her ID. She didn't even get it. So that means like all the population we have in Minnesota, we are generating, we have other generation coming up. So we need that consular so that our kids can have that sense of belonging, like they belong to Kenya. So that in the future, if we have something that's going on in Kenya, so they can know, like, okay, this is where we come from, and we need to belong there. And okay, right now we have a consulate in Washington, D.C. It's not cost effective. You can imagine if I want to renew my I'm not talking about myself, but people have families that if they have like 5 kids, they have to travel all the way to Washington, D.C. to renew passports or to have an ID, because lately you guys changed everything, that we have to have those biometric, and you have to be there in person. So unless we have a mobile, which doesn't even work, because the last time they came over here, most people were frustrated. Also, Minnesota is so central. My good friend Taya said, oh yeah, if we have to have a consulate, then we'll have it in Chicago. I don't know how many Kenyans live in Chicago. I mean, I know they live in Chicago, but that's okay. But we are in a central place, because most of these states, even Illinois, which you didn't even say it's a state, you said Chicago, which is a city. Chicago is a state in Illinois. We have South Dakota is our neighbor over here. We have North Dakota, which is our neighbor too. We have Iowa down over here, and we have Wisconsin over here. Also, we have Nebraska, like 6 hours drive from here. So if we have a consul over here, it will be very central to all the neighboring states where we know our people live over there. And also, on a very important point, the state of Minnesota has been helping us as Kenyans or immigrants in short. Like they've been helping all immigrants to settle over here. And if you go and search on your statistics, Minnesota is one of the states that has more immigrants than any other states. So, keeping that in mind, we have our Somali neighbors from around there, and then we have our Ethiopian, and we have our even all the other neighboring countries. They will benefit from this, especially the Somalis. We have the largest Somali Kenyan who are living here, and even the state's Attorney General is a Muslim. He's not Somali, but he's a Muslim, Kate also, and recently went to Kenya. So, keeping all those points in mind, we really need a consul because we are the largest community that resides in the diaspora and especially in Minnesota. And we are neighbors to almost all other states. My friend Guitar said we need it in Chicago. I mean, you guys gonna make your decision. But then
hit your points. Don't attack. Yeah, just hit.
No, I'm not hitting.
Okay.
Guitar is my friend.
I can answer those questions.
Tom is my friend. Okay. So lastly, that's a lot.
They can say their names as they leave, and then I have one word for the members of parliament before I leave from the stage.
Please introduce us. My president. Just introduce them.
Okay. I have Isaac Njoroge. I have Daniel Onduso, and that is William Kiage. Yeah, so thank you so much for your audience. Before I leave the stage, I have one thing to request for the members of parliament to take along to Kenya. First of all, take our greetings, and so thank you so much for coming. But one thing that is concerning is security that I want you to address when you go to parliament. Most of us are fearing to go to our country because of what happens there when we go there. There is no security that we have, and recently we have one of our leaders who just died there because he didn't die a natural death, but he was killed. And this is not the first person to be killed, or this is not the first time this is happening, and we would like some security. You know, when you guys come here, Kenyans, when they come here, we have a very friendly environment, and you feel safe, and you feel good while you are with us, and we are happy to do that. So when you go back, please, we need to be happy going back to our country when we visit and our family. So the main important thing is that we need security. When we come there, we need security, and we need someone, the government, to keep us safe while we are there until we come back here. So thank you so much for giving us audience and give us the consulate here, so we have the biggest population in Minnesota. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. I gave you more minutes because you had much to say, and thank you for your team. And now, is there any other community leader left outside before we start? I'll give Irene later. Irene will come and speak later because you'll come here with who? Kimo? Or John McCauley? Okay, I've been requested to allow Mr. John McCauley to come and give one a 2 minute, a 1 minute speech. Please, Bwana Makori, Dr. Makori. Yeah, these titles, we've won them, so I have just to call you by that title. Yeah, thank you. Dr. Makori, come.
Good evening, everybody. As you have heard, my name is Dr. John Makori. I'm currently the ASMIO chair in Minnesota. And I'll take this opportunity, I'm not going to take much time. I'll be very brief. First, members of parliament, feel welcome to Minnesota. I think the welcome you got when you started, I saw Henry was very cold. People didn't even clap and stand for them. You know, this is not the Minnesota welcome. Maybe what happened with Shimiwa is that we moved from 80 degrees, 2 days ago it was very hot, we were feeling the AC. Today you are seeing the snow in Minnesota. So unbelievable, this is the longest, I think one of the longest seasons we have had for winter, and it's been crazy. So the other day we were sweating, today we are covered up. But feel welcome to Minnesota. As the chair said here, today we are not going to go much into the personal issues. The personal issues, we might leave them back in Kenya with the mandamanos and all that, but that is not the moment for now. All I can say, I will strike only 2 points. Waheshimiwa, thank you for taking your time. The issue that was mentioned here by our colleagues about the consulate to be here in Minnesota, if I can take you in a little bit of history, is an issue that we have been asking for the past 15 years. So if you go to the parliamentary Hansard, if you go through them, and maybe I can even next time I'll even provide which one, you will find that it's already in the parliamentary Hansard in Kenya. A lot of data has been done. A lot of data has been collected by the embassy here in Washington. And I remember when the ambassador came here, he told us that the data was conveyed and was taken back to Kenya, to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So you guys, you already have the data that Minnesota needs a consulate. It's very important, as people have said, we have the largest Somali community here, doing a lot of business, the largest other than Somali communities, Kenyan communities. The connections, even the people from Texas can access it very easily. As somebody said, we traveled to even vote. I went to vote at the Kenyan embassy. I spent almost over $1,500 to do that. So you can imagine how many people are you going to have to do that, to do even the voting. It's not going to happen. But Minnesota will be able, as somebody said, connect people from Texas, connect people from Iowa, connect people from Wisconsin. It's quite central. And I would like to also thank our ambassador, because when he came around, when he was moving around, he saw the problems we were having. And when he went back to Washington, he said he will try, just to mitigate the problems we were having, he said he will try to have the mobile clinics for immigration. And that has helped a little bit. But we still have so many people who need those services. Please, take our pleas when you go back. Secondly, or lastly, is the issue of insecurity. As one person just said here, we are so much concerned about how the investigations about murder cases are going back home in Kenya. You know, when you live in an advanced country, when there's a murder issue, the kind of investigation that is carried out is so thorough. But we have had concerns that I heard that you have an internal security committee with you guys. Please look into this issue. The investigation should be thorough. When we have people from the diaspora who have spent a lot of money, they have earned that money here, they are taking it back to invest in Kenya, and we're having a number of them who are getting murdered. Some members are being murdered so brutally, and I think you've heard the current case that happened from one of our leaders who was here from Minnesota. So we will want a channel where you guys can also help us. As much as we are investing in Kenya, please give us a chance so that where these things are investigated and give the diaspora the confidence they need. Otherwise, thank you for taking your opportunity. This is not the people you are seeing here in Minnesota. If you are spend more time in Minnesota, you will see thousands and thousands of people. Please, as I've said, this is not a personal issue at this moment. Let us work where we can work together. That's how countries have worked. It's not about that this is so and so. It's not about this is a company. It's not about. It's about Kenyans we need those services, and when we ask for these services, we are saying, if you want our remittances to Kenya, then make it easier for us also to get those services, to get the documents, to buy land, to get the documents, to do investment in Kenya. Make it easier for us so that we can channel those remittances that you are taxing in Kenya. So in one way, we are the ones begging, while the government should be coming and saying, you guys, you need these services urgently, and it will be there daily, in fact. In fact, the government should be doing it, because once you give us those services, once you give us the Kenyan IDs, you are making it easy for us to invest back home. So this is why we are calling for this.
Yes.
But I'm saying, please come again, because this is not the Minnesota nights that we will have wanted you guys to enjoy. Otherwise, thank you so much. Thank you for the Minnesota community. You know how the elections went. You know there are some other issues to be ironed out. Those will still continue to be ironed out. We will still be Azimio. I always say hi to my brother Ireri, as much as he educates me about UDA Kenya Kwanza. I also have other issues. Kapondi, you seem to be one of the people that I've known for a long time. So this is a nice moment that I have had an opportunity to meet all of you. Thank you. Thanks everybody, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Makori, for that wonderful insight. And I don't want to forget that we also lost one of our diaspora who was actually cut into pieces and stacked. That's the correct English word. It was stashed in a gunny bag. Till to date, we've never got any information of who killed him, while the police are out of the information at their disposal to bring the murderer into book. So before I introduce do we have any other? I don't really want to forget any other community leader. I want also to bring some of our experts in various capacities. So if there is any leader I'm going to forget, please you remind me. Wanaireri, you'll be speaking with your team, so wewe nitakuacha kidogo. So let me bring Dr. London. Why do you want Kenya, or why do you want our leaders who have actually come from Kenya to go and tell the President and Parliament that we need a consular services in Minnesota? Do you just want a consular services to come and issue you ID cards and passports, or what do you want? So let's hear from one of our community leaders.
Thank you very much. Mheshimiwa Karibu, Minnesota. As you heard, my name is Dennis Mairura, London, from county number 45. I think for me, this is not something I thought about seriously, but we definitely need some consulate services here. And for me, I don't think it's something that we really need to convince, because as one of the speakers has said, there is sufficient data to show why we need consulate service here. The data has been collected. There is data within the government, probably with the Ministry of I don't know whether it's economic planning, with the Central Bureau of Statistics. We have quite a number of Kenyans in this place. Some of our children have been born here, so they're Americans, but they've been born to Kenyan parents. So, as it's also in the Constitution, they are Kenyans. And one of the things that I think we are entitled, all of us as Kenyans, is that the government has to provide the essential registrations, whether it's registration of birth, registration of IDs, passports, and all that. It's very awkward sometimes when people travel and you're on a different queue, like a Kenyan, and your children are on a different queue, like foreigners. So that is one of the reasons that I think is very important for us to have a consulate service here, so that it will be easier for us to have our children, and maybe, our children especially, to be registered. As somebody said here, some people have been here for a very long time, maybe 30 years, maybe 20 plus years. I've been here, I think, for about 17 years. All my children are born back in Kenya, but of course, they don't have the necessary documentation in terms of IDs. They've got a Kenyan passports, but that is not the situation for everybody. Recently, we had a situation where we had registration done and it was done, and I saw people queue for those services at almost like 11 in the night. So I would argue and urge that when you go back, please use those numbers to make an informed decision. Number two, it is common sense to the Kenyan public that remittances, in terms of cash remittances from the diaspora, they are quite huge. And if maybe they were to slice down the data to break down and see where are those remittances coming from, I'm convinced that the remittances from Minnesota would be among the highest remittances that we get from the United States. So if that is something that the government does consider, I know some of my colleagues have talked about other essential things that are important for us, but remittances is very, very important. So if that is something that the government wants to look at to form a basis for why we need a consulate here, I think that would be very, 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 very good for us. And then finally, the location of our state. We are very central in the Midwest. We've got quite a few other Kenyans living in the neighboring states like Wisconsin, Iowa, North Dakota, South Dakota. I think this is a much more central place because even when some of those Kenyans fly back to Kenya, they still have to come to Minnesota to get their connections from here. Most importantly, also enshrined in our Constitution, is the right for us to vote. We are not able to vote because we cannot afford, maybe we can afford, but it's not a good way of spending our money, to go to DC to do the voter registration, come back, then go back again to do the voting. I think that doesn't look like a very good way of operating our time and resources that would be channeled to Kenya to do one or two things. So, since we are part of the system, we want to make a contribution in determining the leaders that we have for our country. It doesn't matter where, but we need to have a voice towards the determination of the leaders. So that is something that all of us, I think, again, we are entitled to, but circumstances have made it impossible for us to exercise that constitutional right that we are entitled to. So those three things, I think that are very important. We want to have registration, we want to be able to vote, and of course, all the data that is required to make that determination, I believe, is still with the government. Let somebody use that data, analyze the data, and make data-driven decisions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. London. I'm now going to make it open before I bring the expert who also did the document. Or I would love to. Okay, you having a suggestion there?
I have a question. I want to say something.
You want? I gave you a minute and you didn't say something. You've remembered something? Can you ask it pretty proper from there? Goja kidogo. Nakupea nafasi. Okay, go ahead.
I don't have that without voice.
Or without the microphone. Okay, just come pretty fast, please. And then I want to make it open. One. Whoever was not actually spoken. I want to give the people who have not spoken, please. The ones who have not spoken. You already presented.
She spoke too.
Thank you. Come. You'll get time.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. When you asked, my understanding was I'm introducing myself. So let me not ask, but present my question or whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
I've been here for a long time, and one of the things that I have that shocked me is when we come across mentally ill, homeless Kenyans. And having worked in public health for some time, and with all the mental health awareness that is around and learning more about it, I have come to have an appreciation, if that's the right term, of what really happens to a person. And I have come to appreciate the fact that it's beyond their control. They're not just running around acting crazy, they're not acting. They are, it's a system, something beyond their control. I was in LA some years ago, and we're waiting for a friend of ours to, the friend we'd gone to visit we were waiting for him at a restaurant. And as we're waiting, we were just standing out there and we're talking in Swahili, and a gentleman who looked homeless approached us and, because we're speaking Swahili. And I don't want to go into the whole detail, but we came to understand and see that he was homeless. He was in LA. He knows his family. I don't know if his family knew where he was. It was really sad. When I went to, what state was this, New Jersey, they were talking about a lady who had taken drugs and now she was sleeping in the streets. As a Kenyan, we have not seen that in Minnesota here, and we thank God for that. But what can we do as a member of parliament? Maybe can we set something to where, if we find such a person, let's say in Minnesota, can we, I know we as a community can chip in money to find a ticket for them, but is there something that we can work with you so that this person is brought home? Because the ticket is not the issue. I don't think it's the issue. Getting $1,000 is not hard. $10, 100 people got the 100,000. What can we do? So that's what I wanted to present to you. Because knowing, some of these people came by themselves, nobody wants them because of what they've done, but the people back home want them. What can we do to bridge the gap to get them there? So that is what I wanted to ask.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Weshima will answer that particular question. I would like, you presented a document as an expatriate. So just
you gave a chance. What? You are not giving me a chance.
No, I'll give you a chance. I want to give a chance to those people who have not spoken, please. First of all. Okay? A custodian, you will get your chance. Let me give a chance to the gentleman next to custodian first. You come. Custodian, you'll come here.
Give me a chance.
You'll get a chance.
Okay.
Everybody will get a chance. You come. And if there is any other person who has got any other suggestion or an argument different from what we have actually spoken here, that would be better. Yeah. Okay, come.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening again. Thank you so much for the chance. My name is Joshua Kamsingi. I come from Kisii County. I'm going to echo to what my other friends have said about consulate. Really need it. It's long overdue. So please, Washimiwa, when you go back home, consider that. That's something we really need. Boarding is one thing. The other day we went to the mobile clinic for the embassy to get IDs. And it took really a long time just to serve one person. It took hours and hours to just serve one person. So if we had that consulate here, it would be very efficient. The other thing I'm going to ask Washimura to please do, I have family members back at home. The state of the economy back at home is really deplorable. And I know Washimura, it's on your hands. When you hear that 6 months, like people haven't been paid, it's really, it takes a toll. So it's just something we can do as members of parliament to make sure that money moves from the central government to the counties efficiently so that people are being paid, because it will help the economy and it will lessen the suffering of the people. Lastly, the state of the healthcare back in our country. There's something, if we can partner like the people from diaspora to make sure that, we can work with counties and the government to make sure that, first of all, we have like good facilities so that, people can be able to get healthcare. That would be very important. Even you, Washington, it will benefit you because if you get sick, and you are able to get medical care easily, then it will really work well. Lastly, about security, I know others said about it. Please do something. Make sure that security is really improved. Make sure that people don't get murdered and nothing is done. You hear that investigations will be done, but nothing really happens. So please let that be taken care of. If it means you go to Parliament and do something, please do it so that you'll help us. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, my brother, for highlighting that information. So I want to bring Dr. Karanja forward with Mr. Ireri, and then Caston, you'll also get a chance after they've done that presentation. So Dr. Karanja and your team, please, this is your time to present that particular document, so that tuipige msasa kidogo. Dr. Karanja with your team, please. Thank you so much. So let's carefully listen to what the team have actually done, have been doing for a couple of, let me say, I don't know whether it's months or weeks, but let me give them the platform to talk. Go ahead.
All right, thank you. You called my name, you know me. You were telling me I'm coming here as a UDA chairman, but I wear many hats. The job that I'm known with ni ile ya kuja hapa, enda hapa, fanya hivi, fanya hivi. That is kazi ya mkono. My name is Asami Reri, as many of you know. I don't really say a community leader, but let me say I'm the UDA chairman in Minnesota, Kenya Kwanza chairman here. And the biggest issue that we're talking about is about the consulate. But if I understand properly, the members of parliament who are coming here, especially to observe what happened on the modular services and see, does it work, does it not work? And also listen to Kenyans, what we need from the government. And so, from what I heard from Bwana Kibwato, that we have different committees represented from parliament, we do appreciate the time that you've taken to do that. On this issue of consulate, it's an issue that has been going on for a long time. I'm a little bit younger than my brother Tom Guitar. He came here only 22 years ago, so he's way ahead of me. And by virtue of age, I think he's my elder brother too, so I do appreciate what you do. The issue of consulate has been there since I came to this country. The leaders that we found here have been trying to tackle this issue for a while. And so, from my perspective and from other leaders' perspective, we've tried to kind of look at why has it not happened. We understand there are different governments, but what exactly is it that has led the government not to really approve this? Yet there is economical sense to it, social sense to it. And the biggest part that we always hear from the leaders, especially the Kenyan leaders, is the diaspora is not organized. The diaspora does things according to how they feel like, and they're very fragmented, let me use that word. And the biggest part has been when we're trying to work together as a community, we put ourselves into cubes and compartments of where I belong or what I want to do, and not come together, all of us together as a joint force of Kenyans. And I do want to thank the leaders who thought about the MKA, the Minnesota Kenyan Association, I believe that's the name, of bringing the top the leaderships of all these communities together to work together. Without wasting wasting a lot of time, as you can tell, I'm super tired. We had different functions that were going late, especially the Nyumbani. But the key thing was, how do we present this issue of consulate in an orderly way and formally to the government? So what we decided, and among those who were in the initiative of trying to think why has this not worked, was we have not had, or we have not presented things according to what our constitution says. All right? When we approach our government, but we really don't follow the constitution per se of how we also need to approach government and the initiatives of that. In as much as yes, the government represents us, we also need to make sure that we do things the right order. And so what we did is we tried to put the leaders of different organizations together. We looked for some of the technocrats around, and we said, some of us, we are not very good with putting things together. Put a framework for us, and once you put this framework for us, let us see what the next step would be, which is public participation. And we all come there and we give you your ideas, what we're doing right now. The good thing is, Mheshimiwa mmekuja at the time that process is going on. And we want to take advantage to ensure that, guess what, we are not taking this to chance. Since you've already come, we will explain what has been done and what is supposed to go on. So briefly, I understand the community has not been involved yet of what's happening. They have been hearing there's a committee putting things together. A lot of people are thinking that committee is organizing this event, which is not, by the way. We were coming here because Mheshimiwa wamekuja na tukasema we're all going to take advantage of this as Kenyans. The key thing was to put a framework together, because all the 20,000 of us cannot do that. Present the framework to the community. Tell them, this is what we want to reason within these parameters. Give us your input. A lot of surveys have gone out, actually, regarding the consular services. And then from there, now this committee goes back, puts all those ideas together, comes back to the public and says, this is what we want to see. Now, you as the members of the community, let's go and lobby for this together. So this is the moment now I'm going to invite Dr. Karanja, who has been actually helping lead this group and put things together, and tell us where are we, and what needs to be done.
Thank you. I did not tell so thank you very much, Sam, for that introduction. I am Kenyan Karanja, and I am a member of the Minnesota community. I am non-partisan, so to speak. I've been tasked more in terms of providing policy leadership, so to speak, and writing up that particular framework. First of all, thank you, MPs, for visiting with us, and members of the Kenyan community for taking your Sunday to be here with us. Glad to see you, Tom. It's been a while. We always interact, but never quite so often. So thank you for taking your Sunday to be here. As Sam said, we were tasked. We are a committee of about 16 to 18 people from all over here in Minneapolis and St. Paul, I believe. I don't know where involved exactly, but we are within the Twin Cities area. And our task was to put together a framework based on the various conversations that we have been having as Kenyans in Minnesota regarding the need for a consulate to, among other things, provide services that we have talked about today, and also provide opportunities for Kenyans and Americans to interact with Kenyans at home. So the genesis of that conversation was the visit by the Majority Leader, Honorable Osoro, and Honorable Mbaya, a couple of weeks ago, maybe months, where they said it's really necessary for us to have a document that captures the ideas of all Kenyans, or as many Kenyans as want to participate. So the framework we are putting together has two main components. One addresses what Kenya gains by locating and consulate in Minnesota versus many other places that they could locate one. And on the other hand, what Kenyans as citizens gain from having a consulate here. We are in the process of putting together that document. It is not ready for submission, and we are hoping that when the time comes, we will submit it to your committee for consideration. Prior to that, we have conducted a survey. I was at the mobile services the other week, and we were giving a QR code, and I can give you the QR code today to do the survey if you haven't already done it. Part of the reasoning is to compile data, current data that we can accompany the petition with. And in that process, once we have that draft framework, we plan on having community engagement as ascribed in our constitution, where we come to our members to give us feedback, including the feedback that has been provided at this podium today. That forms part of the record that will accompany the petition. The public participation will be online, so watch out for Zoom. We will do Zoom meetings for those who can't make live meetings. We will take advantage of the fair weather that is coming up. Believe you me, honorable MPs, it does get really nice here in Minnesota, and we will be out barbecuing and doing nyama choma. Hopefully we will also engage you in those events so that the information you give to us. Plus, thank you, Tom, for your contrarian view. It is appreciated because it is part of the conversation we are having as citizens as to why we think we need a consulate. And our members of parliament, in considering that, they will also consider other opportunities and other views. But insofar as here in Minnesota and those who have been having this conversation, we will put all that information in that document. And once we have engaged the public, haven't gotten your imprimatur, we will then give that document to a particular committee that engages in diaspora affairs. We will lobby other arms of government as well. So at the very least, we can have either a yay or a nay regarding having a consulate in Minnesota. That's where we are at. So your patience is appreciated as we put together that framework. And when we reach out to you, tafadhali, give us your comments. Tafadhali, kujeni. We don't want to hear that we left anyone behind, because we are not doing anything in secret. We are not hiding anything behind our backs. This is a Lua document. We are just shepherding it because we can't all be in the kitchen at the same time. Otherwise, we'll burn the house. So thank you for listening, and we look forward to your participation when we come out to do the public participation. Thank you.
Thank you. Caston, where are you? Please come. Come give your suggestion. And immediately after Caston, because some members of parliament are actually fasting, so we would like to give them an opportunity even to go and drink some water. You understand how fasting is, especially in our Muslim brothers. So Caston, come give your opinion, then we let the members of parliament take the podium. You'll speak after the members of parliament, please. Thank you.
Well, good evening again, and welcome our members of parliament, and thank you for taking your time and coming to visit us in Minnesota. My opinion might be, the question I'm asking might be off the cuff. And the question I'm asking, yes, you are here to do consultative and analyzing and researching, and it is okay to have a consulate here. My question to you guys, is this being enacted from Parliament, or it was somewhere from political standpoint? We understand everything's political, but also the presentation, because we see or we hear the Vice President talking that you inherited a government which was broke. You are here. I heard you were 9 legislators who came, but I can see 4. If you took a government which was broke, now 9 of you are here. Maybe it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, where you are using taxpayers' money. And the people back home, they are crying that everything is going high. when you are in parliament, you represent your constituency very much. But here, you are here. Education fund, you fought, I saw you fought to be given a chance to control CDF, which you passed because the terrain of numbers, it worked and the terrain of numbers took it off. That terrain of numbers is all right. Now, here we have kids are not going to school, but in the parliament kitchen, you choose what breakfast you want to take. But do you realize the person, because all of us, we are hustlers. Nobody is not a hustler. That narrative of hustler, even Raila and Uhuru, they are hustlers. Nobody who came except who was born in the State House. But everybody, the person who was not born in the State House, is a hustler. Because even the shoes, I can ask you, you might testify for you, if you went to school without shoes. So it means you hustle as anybody, that's me. Now, my question comes, please. There's some has come on our days that they quote as a sport, and then you start debating that issue. It's very disgusting. Very, very disgusting. It's not a point someone can go to parliament to discuss honestly. So when as much you are attacked,
My brother, yes, it's okay. I
No,
understand.
no,
I understand, but
no.
can you gear the discussion? Because
yes, that's the discussion I'm talking. You know I'm talking to these guys.
Yes.
Not you.
I know that, but let's gear what they are up to.
No, don't tell me time.
Yes.
I was here 6 o'clock. So 6 o'clock, when you put 6 o'clock, we are 6 o'clock. Don't give us now, start telling a time is on. You could have come those 6 o'clock, we were here. And these guys, if you laid them somewhere, you have done them injustice. Because it is them, we don't need you, we don't need you, whoever was organizing this. We need these guys to take our views. So don't tell us, especially me. I have to ask what I have. That's all. Now, and I don't know when I will beat them. It's now, I've seen them. And I have to send someone, out of 4 of you, 1 out of 3 might take this question in Parliament. Let us, the Kenyan Parliament, have sanity. Not that time we were an opaque system. When Moi the team was, no meeting in the Parliament. Now Parliament we can watch live. And then you find someone who's educated discussing something which is not supposed, as if that person doesn't have a daughter, doesn't have a wife. And then you miss a focus. You find the chairs in Parliament are empty like this room, and you are elected to represent your constituency. Sometimes you don't even ask a question in the Parliament. And then why were you choosing to go there? Now you are here. The question is this. This council that you are getting, it involves monetary. Have you budgeted about it? If you say the government is broke, and you are here, you are telling us to have an account rate, where are you going to get that money if you are broke in that end? 2, how can you hire 50 assistant CS, whatever it is, and we have 22 ministries, and then you hire double of that ministry? Is that realistic? And then you cancel help education fund. If you are not educating the people, you are educating criminals. Because if someone doesn't go to school to know what it is, that's a criminals you are creating. So don't worship somebody. Don't worship the president. Don't worship the party. When Kenya will come, you are young MPs. Leave that time of Mulinge and stuff when they used to say, even someone does not write his name. But that era is done. Now you hear, you know what's supposed to be done. And then you find If it is to be kicked from parliament, saying the truth, say it. Please, you are distracting my mind.
No, I'm not distracting your mind. I'm trying to tell you that everybody actually needs a chance. So
Of course,
Yes.
I know. I'm winding up.
Thank you.
I'm winding up.
Okay.
I'm winding up. But next time, when you know that this, you have been waiting, these guys.
You finish.
Okay. Because you have had 2 minutes for me.
What is it a concern about consulate?
No,
Let him finish. Let him finish.
We are talking of consulate. A consulate is money. These are the people who are going to pass this thing in parliament. What are you saying? What is a consulate? Don't dictate what to say. If you are given money from the government to eat left, right, that's not my point. My point is those people who are serving, and the people who pass the justice, who pass the law is this guy, not me. It's not even the president. Once you pass, the president has no power. Whatever you present, him is only signature. That's why I'm telling you, and I'm happy I found you guys, that when you go home, tell those guys, it takes one person, not 3, 4, 1, to educate, to enlighten. People, we get embarrassed when we see someone standing. You are discussing a woman the whole day in parliament, from parliament here and from Senate parliament. And then you wonder, what these people, do they know what really they are doing? Nobody has ever raised any question in parliament about the cost of living. The cost of survival. Don't work on survival. Work for the truth. Assume tomorrow, who told you the next 5 years that you will be elected back? Is what you do which will make you to be elected. Of your people down there. Let's come to the council. When you are here, are you going to give these 3 people a council? This. Are you going to give them these 3? Means anything organized, communally, it will succeed. A one ranger cannot make, but involve the stakeholders. Stakeholders, you might see I'm wearing this and you think, oh, this protest. No.
You're Malema.
No, I'm a Simeo, but when it comes to government issue and all Kenyan stakeholders, I will speak. I'm not speaking as a Simeo, I'm not speaking. I'm Patab. And the money we send from here, we are going to hold. That one who was talking now to the consulate. You are talking of the consulate. Us from Minnesota were the people who lent money more, and that's why even Kisi was given a branch of Kenyan Commercial Bank. But when we look, Central Bank, wherever that, you know what I was talking about. So when you look at the government allocations, the positions, I know you are UDA, you are what, that one doesn't concern me. But share equally. Kenya is not one individual or one tribe. Let's take this tribalism out. 22 cabinet, and then you find PS, they are currencies. How can even you, from out of your mind, how can you put Kenya Commercial Bank, the central bank? Mbuga is retiring. Now the assistant who's going to take that is a currency. Now the IG is who appointed was the other day. It's a currency. Now, is it only one tribe in the Kenya? I'm assuring you. No, please. But I'm addressing this.
We can't address what.
Okay, I'm not addressing.
Please.
They know. He's taking notes. I know. He's taking notes. So, balance. When you guys go to, just balance. Everybody wants a cake in Kenya. There are some tribes like the Robos. You don't even see a Robo being chosen to the government. Now, those things, those which angers, and you find a revolt. But he tells the president, I know he listens, and I hope you guys, you are media, he gets this. So that please, when you go to parliament, don't go sit there and think this seat is your house. Even your house, you can be kicked any time. Your wife might kick you any time. So, when you go to parliament, articulate points, especially.
Thank you. Now it's by time. No, please. You'll get time. Now let me give this opportunity. Let me give this opportunity so that let me give this particular opportunity to Mheshimiwa so that you can actually come and give look at Mheshimiwa.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. God is good. All the time. First of all, I wish to thank all of you for hosting us this evening. We'll be deliberately very brief because basically what all of you have presented is very clear to us. My name is Dido Raso. I am the MP for Saku in the county of Masai. For those who have not been to Kenya for many years, that is in northern part of Kenya. Yes. Our mission to come to Minnesota was actually two. The first one is we wanted to see the efficacy of the mobile service that was provided. We wanted to catch up with them when they were in Minneapolis, but unfortunately, I think because of many things that were going on, they finished the exercise last week. The second mission is we wanted to have community conversation. What are the challenges that is there with our Kenyan brothers and sisters over here, so that as we go back, what the gentleman who just spoke before me talked about, those are the issues of concern. I want to invite you to read the Kenyan Constitution, Article 10, that is about community conversation, or what you call citizen participation. I also want to invite you to read Article 95 of our Constitution, the role of the National Assembly. And further, I want to invite you to read Article 96, the role of Senate in lawmaking in the Republic of Kenya. Therefore, the brief that I want to make is as follows. You know, the doctor and the lawyer argued who was better in terms of discharging their function. And then the lawyer said, you know, you are a doctor and you are good, you treat us all the time. But the problem with you doctors is you bury your evidence. Of course, when the doctor operates on a patient and they die, the patient is buried. So there is not going to be any follow-up. But the good lawyer will always be in court trying to produce that evidence. So as we come here, as members of the National Assembly of the Republic of Kenya, we come here as members of parliament, not as UDA, not as UDM, not as ODM. All those characters, we left them in Kenya. Here, we represent the Republic of Kenya. And we are non-partisan. The people we meet whether it is in Minnesota or in DC or in New York or in any parts of the world, those are Kenyans. We don't see them in black and white. We see Kenyans. So take it from us, and I want to give you that guarantee. Whether you tell me that you are Zimio or UDA, I will not listen to that. I will listen to a Kenyan who will appear before my committee to present issues of concern that as I go back, I put ink on paper to ask the government of Kenya to address. So, last week, we have already been told from your conversation that there were quite a bit of challenges when you are being issued those vital documents. The passport, the ID card, and even birth certificate. Here we have 3 committees combined for the first time. The Committee of Defense and Foreign Affairs, the Committee of National Administration and Internal Security, and the Committee of Diaspora. As you may realize, the Committee of Diaspora has not been there before in the Kenyan Parliament. It is the first time. That means the government of the day and the Parliament of the day realizes the importance of diaspora in contributing to the good, the welfare, and to the general functioning of the Republic of Kenya. So for that reason, nobody will sidestep diaspora and what you do out here in terms of making Kenya a better place. So that recognition is there. Further to that, there's the thinking that diaspora is about remittance. Remittance is just 1% of the many things that you do. You bring science and knowledge to the Republic of Kenya. You bring network to the Republic of Kenya. Because some of you work in industries, in the universities, in medicine. All that you are able to network for Kenya, which is much bigger than the $200, $300 you send to your family, friends, and relatives back home. So look at it to be much bigger than what you think. The other thing which we really want to share with you, it is the issue of structured engagement. I want to correct that we didn't come here to discuss the issue of you having a consulate, or we as Kenya having a consulate in Minnesota. Actually, it is one of the issues that is clearly coming up as a result of having public participation with yourselves. So as we go back, one of the issues that we mark on our paper is that the Kenyans we met out there have been able to convince us that there is need to have a consulate. So you need to differentiate the two. That there is enough population, that they are making adequate contribution, they are able to participate effectively in terms of networking Kenya from the state of Minnesota. So that convinces us that we must mark it as part of an important finding in our report. The other issue about this thing of having a consulate, you have already realized in the few days that you have got the mobile service, how it is inadequate, considering the number of people, considering many of you are working, and that week you may not have the chance actually to appear before that committee to be served. So all these are what are likely contributors that you need that service as opposed to mobile for it to be close to you. We have heard you. I will intentionally avoid the political issues that have been raised here. Somebody said Kenya is broke. Kenya can never be broke. We are the fourth largest economy in sub-Saharan Africa. The fourth largest economy. And I think if issues are corrected here and there, the only countries that we are likely to compete with in sub-Saharan Africa are Egypt, Nigeria, South Africa, and Ethiopia, in that order. So it's not a small economy. While we may not compare ourselves to the United States, I think we can hold our own. There are a few issues which are raised last week, and I believe the President was very clear. He came out clearly to say that the problem we encountered as a country is almost all our loans were coming out together to be serviced at the same time. So one must ask, do I service loans that if I fail, it will have international repercussion? Or do I delay to pay my people salaries for 2-3 days? So that, in a sense, does not really make Kenya to be broke or that we don't have money. We are not like any countries of the 70s or the 60s that they might recourse to printing money. Kenya is not in that league. I think we are way above that. On the issue of security, I thank the madam who has raised that. Is she in the house? I think she left. The president,
Yeah, she left.
We have been informed of the unfortunate killing of Mr. Edward Murema Nyagecha, who was murdered together with his wife. I think we have been adequately informed about that. I think we will pick up that issue with the DCI to make sure that such killings, I think we are Kenyans. Sometimes we know why some of those things happen. That you arrive in Nairobi, then you are driven home by somebody, then they look at the suitcases that you carry, they look at your fabric. The following day you visit the bank, somebody is just trailing you. Then a few days later, people will storm your house, they want to rob you, and in the end, they kill a potential person who may even change the fate of a location. That they can contribute so much, even in terms of educating as many youngsters as they can within their locality, or even within a sub-county. It is the unfortunate thing that we experience in our country, but I think one killing is killing too many. That we will promise that I think the chairman sitting behind me will be able to share with him, because I vice chair the Committee of Security in the National Assembly. Will be able to take up that with the BCI. Madam Josephine, is she in the house? Yeah, you asked about mental illness and Kenyans who can find themselves in very unfortunate situation. I think on this I want to say as follows. First, every Kenyan who is in this country or in any other foreign country must be registered. They should register themselves with the consulate or with the embassy or even with the communities, as you have ably demonstrated to us that you have very reasonable communities, as we saw. People must have the essential documents that they are entitled to by dint of the Constitution: a birth certificate, an ID card, and a passport. So that if somebody is picked up, they are not picked up by as a non, but as a Kenyan who goes by a name. So that straight away it is reported to the embassies or to anybody you find that, yes, I have the details of so and so is a person in authority. We experienced this, I think, not just in the US, but even in the UK, in Europe, as we go around in our parliamentary duties. But the important thing is people must be registered and they must be known. Secondly, the embassies don't have funds that they can take care of such individuals. But if it is known that these are your countrymen and women, and something needs to be done, particularly in terms of returning them back home, then something can always be done. As an exigency, we take it, this is an emergency. So let us be diligent, particularly in terms of registering everybody. Registering everybody, so long as they are Kenyan. Let us not have our own people becoming stateless in different or in foreign countries out there. The other issue that I wanted to share with you is this. We have an embassy in DC, and we have a mission in New York, a consulate in LA. But whereas those are our legitimate representatives as Kenya, you people sitting here, you may hold different opinion politically, different persuasion, but you become a very important part of the Kenyan ambassadors out there, because you represent us. You represent the country, you represent the president, you represent the members of parliament. The way one Kenyan handles himself out here, it is reflection on what is happening there back home. So let us not just point fingers at, oh, the embassy there, the consulate there, is that. it is we sitting here who represent Kenya in much, much bigger way. Finally, they say that there's always a strength in unity. There's always a strength in unity. If we are divided, we become weak. If we are united, we become a very strong country and a very strong people as Kenyans. I have traveled as one person across the globe. And wherever I went, even if I felt comfortable going to that country, even if I lived for 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, I always felt that I am a Kenyan, and I always felt that I feel very proud to be a Kenyan. So as you work hard here, you work 24/7. I know some of you work 2 jobs, others do 3 jobs, others sleep for 3-4 hours, others don't have weekends. Maybe some of you don't remember when was your last weekend. Others work on Christmas, or if you are Muslim, you are working on Eid al-Fitr. That day your time comes and you are working. So always think, what is it that I want to do at home? If you don't have a house, make sure you build it. If you don't have a farm, maybe don't buy a farm if there's nobody to look after it. Buy a sizable piece of land that when you are retiring, you know that you'll be living like a lord. Life here can be very good. I came to the US when many of you sitting here were not born. How many were born before 1984? Before 1984? Before, not after.
Yeah, we have reached how many? You said many, yeah. That is
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how many were born after 1984? Basically, the whole population. So that was my first visit to the US, and I was in Texas, a place called Fort Bliss, that borders El Paso. And I was a very young military officer. So America is not what I find today. I don't see many people walking. At that time, basically, majority of the people were walking, and many people were riding bicycles. Today, I can see everybody is driving. So if you see somebody walking, then you must be wondering, why is this one walking? So this is how the world changes. And sometimes it changes for the better because of technology and many other things. Finally, I want to say that we really thank you for your time. We really thank you for those issues you have raised with us. And we don't take it for granted. Our brother was saying that about Parliament. I want to tell you this. Next time you go back to Kisii, try to run to be a member of Parliament. And then, if you succeed to take over Osoro's seat, I'll tell you that, oh, you have succeeded. And then I will tell you, okay, you try to run that thing called a constituency. You know, sometimes you compare us to our brothers and sisters who are congressmen and senators over here. There in Kenya, Osoro is the ATM, the walking ATM of Mugirango South. If somebody dies, he's the one who will be told. If somebody is lost, if a child is out of the school, if a house is burnt, if Mr. So-and-so is killed, if there is an accident, you are basically a walking government. And that is our difference. But these guys, they are just lawmakers. Nobody will come to their house in the morning to tell him that, you know, my child has been chased out of school. Nobody. People don't have those time. After all, you have, it's called a social security number. The legislator or congressman or woman will say, but I think you have a social security number. So we are different, but some of the concerns that you say, we actually raise it on the floor of the House. Because we are in that House to raise matters of concern to our people. Such as the killing that you have said. Somebody who has gone on holiday, somebody who took money home, somebody who was going to build a house for the others, somebody who was going to bring maybe a few to the states. Then some criminal who was just wielding a machete just kills him. A machete that was bought for 2,000 shillings. So for that reason, I want to assure you that we will represent you people. And more often than not, when we are in the House, we tend to be non-partisan, other than when issues of political temperatures come up. Most of the time, across the divide, the MPs will support issues of concern to our people, whether it is about the West, the East, the North, the South, the Central, everywhere. For an MP from Nyanza to say, what happened yesterday in Mount Kenya is unacceptable. That is what we are, irrespective of party and political divide. I want to stop here, and I want to invite my colleagues to just introduce themselves, because I have made a pitch on their behalf. Honorable Fred Kapondi, I understand many of these guys, they know you. Yeah, okay.
I think they are recording.
Well, take the mic.
Yeah, good evening. I don't want to belabor what our head of television has said. By name, I'm Fred Kapondi, Member of Parliament, Mount Elgon. I'm doing my third term. Thank you.
Yes, hamjambo nyote. Habari zenu?
Nzuri sana.
Naomba kurudisha nyumbani kidogo. Majina naitwa Mboro Kahangara, mbunge wa sehemu bunge ya Lari iko katika Kiambu County. Na niongeza tu jambo moja, vile mwenyekiti au leader of delegation amesema, ni kwamba katika taifa la Kenya, wakati umechaguliwa kama mbunge kutoka sehemu yote, unaposhika Biblia namna hii, unaapa kwamba utalinda katiba ya Kenya. Kwa hivyo tunaposimama katika bunge kutunga sheria, hakuna sheria ya Mkikuyu, hakuna sheria ya Mkisii, hakuna sheria ya Mkalenjin, Msomali, sheria ambayo inaangazia Wakenya wote au taifa la Kenya. Na kwa hivyo pia tunapofanya kitu inaitwa representation ambayo tutafanya kutoka hapa, ni kwamba yale yote ambayo umetuambia na tumeyashika, tutabeba maslahi ya Wakenya, na sisi tutakuwa wawakilishi wenu katika bunge kama kuna lile ambalo litakuwa linahitajika kufanya. Mwisho ni kwamba tunapotembea safari, naambiwa kwamba ukitaka kutembea haraka, tembea peke yako, unakimbia, lakini ukitaka kwenda mbali, mshikamano pamoja. Vile mlivyo hapa, kama mtashikana katika jambo hilo ili liweze kufika, manake sasa limeanza kufika katika bunge na kwa serikali kwa ujumla, yale malilio yenu itaweza kutimizwa na taifa. Hata niseme nashukuru kupata nafasi kwa pamoja nanyi, na niwahakikishie kwamba yote ambayo tumesikia kutoka kwenu, yale mtakaa chini pia kuweza kuandika na yatufikie, tutafanya kila juhudi kuhakikisha kwamba yametimiza. Asante na Mungu awabariki.
Habari zenu. Ni shukrani kwa kutukaribisha. Kwa majina naitwa Moses Kirima. Mjumbe wa eneo linaitwa Settlement Meru County. Na ni asante kwa kukuta nyinyi ukiwa umeshikana bila kushikana. Asante sana.
Asanteni sana. Nafikiri wenzangu hawajaongea kama wanasiasa. Unajua wanasiasa ukipewa microphone lazima utaongea mpaka uambiwe imetosha. Na kwa yale nimesema, nafikiri wameona imetosha. Sisi yetu ni kuja kujua kama ile mobile service mmepewa ilikuwa inatosheleza, lakini kwa public participation tumeona haitoshelezi. Na tumesema itakupatia nafasi, na tumesema kitu ile mwafaka ya kufanyika ni mmesema mobile service tumefanyiwa haitoshi, tungependa mtusaidie tuwe na consulate hapa Minneapolis. Nafikiri ni hiyo.
Yes.
Nafikiri iko ndugu yetu mmoja alisema consulate ingefaa kuwa Chicago, sio huku. Nafikiri hata hiyo ni maoni. Hakuna kitu itadhuru. But mara ya mwisho wanasema the majority will have their way, the minority will have their say. That is democracy. Kwa hivyo nyinyi wakati mnatupia document, mtakuwa mmetupia document ambaye itasema jambo moja, sio jambo mawili. Yes, Secretary.
I'll be very brief. Thank you, Honorable, for the future. And we already have one issue as a community, because we have other community leaders here who are amongst us. You guys came here on a very short notice. Hiyo ndio sababu hata tungekuwa na hiyo document ya hand over to you guys. And the whole issue is when you guys are working with you are so specific, like, okay, we want to work with this community, but it's so unfortunate how you guys are working with individuals. We need you guys to work with communities. And I have many answers. You saw Ireli, you saw Lilian, you saw all those communities. And I tried to talk to some of them. They say they don't even know that you are coming here. So next time you guys come over here, please pass to organizations. Because in Minnesota, we have so many organizations that are working. We have leaders over here that if you guys organize, if you guys informed us early in advance, this thing you are saying like, oh, the document is not prepared. How? Honestly, how? Hii kitu tungekuwa like mngekuja hapa tungekuwa na document to hand over to you guys so that you can work on that, because saizi mnaenda Kenya mlikuja kufanya nini? Honestly, hii ndio sababu tunawaambia work with community leaders. We have community leaders and we have organizations here in the US, especially in Minnesota. We have a lot of them. And we have leaders. Me, myself, I'm a leader in an organization, but we don't despise other leaders because I've reached to all the other leaders. Na mungetuambia tungekuwa na hiyo kitu, because we don't even know how you guys mnaweza kuja hapa mtuambie you need a document from us, but then we are, hiyo ni vibaya. Also, I know you guys immediately you ended over here. You registered yourself with the consular, like Kenyan embassy in Nigeria. The Kenyan embassy too needs to work with the leaders of the community or organizations. Period. Hii kitu ya kutuambia it all you working with individuals right now, hata nafasi kupewa hapa is by far like ni hilo unapiga kelele ndio unapewa nafasi. We don't need that. We need to have a protocol so that if I want to represent something, kama sio president wa Manyangetingani nipea nafasi, hizi vitu zote nilisoma and then they repeated themselves. And they didn't even have a formal document that could represent hizo vitu. Hatukepata nafasi asimwanyagetinge. So you guys, next time you come over here, please work with organizations. Na hiyo itakuwa sawa. Asante sana. Asante sana mheshimiwa.
Thank you very much. If it will be short, I will take it.
Yeah, there's one community member from the Somali community. I always want to be very fair.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Salat, just one minute. Just come 1 minute. We want to be very representative. Just come here, Mr. Salat. Mr. Salat, come. Yeah. Alafu ukimaliza utaniambia pale nitaenda kufungua iftar na mheshimiwa.
Hello. Habari wa Kenya? Naitwa Salat kutoka Isiolo County. Mimi ni mtu hapa Minnesota, nimekaa hapa karibu miaka 2. I just want to have some few questions for Waheshimiwas. So first thing first, we were here by 6 p.m. this evening. A lot of people were here. And all the faces that I met here, almost 80% are not here right now. Because we don't keep time. So just going forward, tafadhali kama mkitualika vitu kama hizi, Waheshimiwa hapa we work with shift, we work with time. So please, let's try to respect our own time. And to add on the issue of consulate, I think much has been said, and I don't want to add a lot of points there, but let's see it from this way. For me to travel to DC, to get a mere, just a mere service, small service. The flights here to DC, I went there like last year twice, is around 500, 600, bucks. Hoteli finance around 200, kukula 200, 300. That's like $1,000 gone if you are one person. So see it from this way. If I wouldn't use that money to airlines, to hotels, probably half of it would have gone to Kenya. To support our friends, our families. So don't just see this thing as a business perspective. So see this thing like we are saving our Kenyans' money so that money can be invested back home. So the second point that I want to point out in regards to that, I don't know how the government works, but I feel like the embassies are supposed to be, they are not for the government, but government representing Kenyans, working for Kenyans who are living there. right? So, Mheshimiwa just mentioned Chicago. I was there, so many times in Chicago. I can tell you for free, the numbers that we are having here in Minnesota can be times 5, times 6.
That's true. Yep.
Times 5, times 6. Here we are talking about over 60,000 Kenyans living in Minnesota. I am from Borana community. We are not very big populated here, but I know there is a lot of Somalis. I can tell you maybe more than 50% are not registered here. So it can be even more than 60,000. The last time that we were here, I think we were talking of about 40,000. The other communities, maybe 20,000 are Somalis. Somalis. So Somalis can be more than even that 20,000. They can be a lot more than that. So let's bring service, to our communities here. We need to have a consulate. That's on a very serious note. That's on a very, very serious note. So if you go back, it's not just a need. Consider it as a basic need. There are all kinds of need. There is primary, secondary, So these are basic needs for the people of Minnesota. My very last question to Honorable Russell here. I know he comes from northern Kenya, from Marsabit County. Last few months we have been talking about the rising drought situation in the country. We have been crying all over, seeking for help. And right now we are talking about floods. So how is the government trying to make sure that all those waters that is flooding and killing every small animals that we are left with and destroying the properties around can be fetched so that in the next 2-3 months down the line we are not going to cry again. So if Mheshimiwa could help with that question, I would appreciate it. So thank you so much and nimeshukuru sana.
Thank you very much. I think you should thank Collins and Ireri, Dr. Dr. Karanja. Actually, you should thank those guys because in our itinerary, we've thought that the embassy guys were going to be here to arrange us to meet you people. But because they were not there, we never thought we were going to meet any of our people. So for us, in another 48 hours, we tried to catch up with them in Seattle, Washington. So those 3 guys or 4 who made this happen, I think you really need to thank them, and we thank them. At least we have managed to catch up with the small population that is before us. Finally, it's what my young brother there asked. The issue of flood and drought. This time in Kenya, we have been very unfortunate. For a country to experience drought for 4 years continuous, it has not happened in the history of Kenya I think for the last 60 years. So the fact that we didn't lose the people, they live livestock, as the pastoralist community, we say that livestock will go, but so long as people will be there, they will recover. And we really thank the government because they try to do as much as they can, particularly in terms of support for the population, in terms of food. So what has happened in the recent days is it rain and there is flood. And one of my colleagues here was telling me that the weatherman is saying, prepare for El Nino. So we were not ready for El Nino. You can imagine if El Nino starts and it just adds insult to injury. So in terms of tapping the water, the government has put in place that over the next 5 years, they are projected to build 100 dams that will be largely in the arid and semi-arid lands, so that these people will not be complaining about lack of food. Then when it rains, they will talk about flood. So at least there will be a mitigation effort. So among those 100 dams, already something like 12 to 15 have been identified. Where will it be? In Wajir, in Marsabit, in Garissa, in Isiolo, in Samburu, in Turkana, in West Pokot, in Lamu, in Tana River. Already the blueprint is out, so we'll be waiting for the budget. Our budget normally is from 30th of June. So that is something already we in Parliament are fully aware of, and we are seized of that matter. I don't want to take much more of your time. I want to thank you for your patience to listen to us. I want to assure our brother, the Secretary General, if we come, I am saying that wherever some other members of Parliament will come, they represent all of us. Whether I'll be there or Kangara, Fred or Moses will be there, it doesn't matter. They represent all of us. So that is why I speak in plural, we. Today the Speaker of the National Assembly is not with us. The clerk is not with us. So-and-so is not with us. But we represent all of them, and they believe that whatever we are doing in Minnesota, they have entrusted us with that task. And that is how Parliament works. Parliament works in committees. That is where 80% of the work of Parliament actually happens outside the chambers of Parliament. Because it is these committees that does all the work, and they present to their colleagues on the floor of the House. So Parliament is never empty. Because if parliamentarians are not there, when you go around committee rooms, you will find that most of the committee rooms are occupied. With those many remarks, we are enjoying your snow this afternoon. We hope tomorrow it will be sunny, so that at least we have one or two sunny days as we live the good part of the country in about 48 hours. Thank you so much, and I want to hand over to the chairman to finish it off. Asanteni sana.
To the government or to Parliament. So I think, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this particular session. If there is anything which we had forgotten, is there anybody? I saw somebody raising your hand. What were you trying to say, my dear sister back there? I think we are done. Brother Castor, just 1 minute, because we are closing up, please. Don't just say it from there, please. We want to pray.
I talk facing people, I can't talk facing from the back.
Yeah, but the time, please.
And longer than I even hear.
Ciao. Just 1 minute.
What Monsignor did not answer one of my questions.